I have dry and mature skin, and I want to use some products that are all powdered, and I want to show you and actually see for myself if they actually dry up my skin even more or if they look as good as cream products. And here they are, so let's get started. So first I want to moisturize my face really good with my Supergoop Play sunscreen. This is the SPF 50. This is an everyday lotion type of sunscreen. I love it so much. I have not used these products in a while. I want to see how everything looks on my dry skin. And I have not used sunscreen yet this morning. And it's, what time is it? It is 9:30 in the morning. I think, to be fair, as usual, I'm going to prime my face with my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. This is in the shade 1 Fair, and this is my favorite product to prime my face with. Makes your skin that much more hydrating. So when you have dry skin, you make sure that you prep your skin very good before you go in with any type of more drying products for your skin. Let's use my sponge. Let me know. I hope the lighting is okay. It's very hard to see. I have a monitor and it looks okay. I don't want it to be too bright, but I don't want it to be too dark. So hopefully this works. We have a nice glowy skin. Okay, so since this is more of a powder type of makeup look, I'm gonna go in with this TIRTIR foundation. I do have a review on this product, and this went viral from Amazon. I think it went viral on TikTok. So it does come with this little sponge, which people suggest to use it. We see, we might use it. And I got mine in the shade, it looks dark, but it's 7C Porcelain. So that's what it looks like inside if you have not seen it before. And I will start with this little sponge. So when you apply it, you can see, and it's quite full coverage, so be careful. So I'm just gonna push it in like this. I'm gonna do one side so you guys can see the difference, and little by little. You don't have to go with too much because then you can become cakey quite fast, so it's better to just build it up. So you can see right away how, so this side there's nothing on, you can still see redness. And this provided like a really nice coverage. I think it looks really pretty. And yeah, this is a very nice foundation actually. I think it's made in Korea too. I'm gonna go over my eyelids as well actually. And don't worry, I like to go at the end with the dampen sponge to eliminate any extra product on the face. Okay, so far so good. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with my dampen sponge and just push everything in. Of course, you can build it up if you want. Definitely, it's just very high coverage, like if you build it up. But I prefer some coverage and still to see my skin coming through, just to perfect my skin. That's the type of look I'm looking for. This is pretty affordable too. I think it was 30 Canadian, I believe so. But I do have a full video on this, reviewing this product, and I'm actually very happy with it. And I have dry, mature skin, and look how nice it looks. It gives you that nice glass skin, but the whole idea is do not go in with too much. Okay, let's move on to bronzer. For bronzer, I haven't used this one in a while. This is the Haus Labs Power Sculpt Velvet Bronzer in the shade Light Level 3. It's really pretty. Look at that. I love this type of bronzer. And for this, I'm going to use my favorite brush, which is my Hourglass Duo-Ended brush, and go with this big fluffy one. Runs up the face. Look how pretty that is. I love actually Hourglass is... No, why am I saying Hourglass? This is Hourglass, Haus Labs. This is by Haus Labs, which is Lady Gaga's brand. Like, I don't have an Hourglass individual bronzer. What do you guys think of those holiday Hourglass palettes that they came out with? I am tempted, however, I don't like the pricing. This is too expensive, number one. And number two, I hear that there's always a lot of repeats. Like, what's the point? People already have the shades. What's the point in buying a palette that has all those shades that you already own. Like, I don't get it. And it's not that they're all in individual ones. People own them in those holiday palettes already. So in my case, I only have this one, the jellyfish one. So I'm not very familiar with the blushes and bronzers because I can't really compare. I only have that palette. So I guess in my case, I can justify buying one of those palettes. And I have been using this palette. Like, you know, it's very convenient because they're all in one, especially when you want to rush and you're out the door. But I don't know, I cannot justify the price. And if I already have one, I don't think I need another one. So, but I'm not saying no, but I'm not saying yes either. Just have an open mind about it. But I'm just curious for, I guess people like to collect them as well. So maybe that's why they like to buy them. But for the price, and they just repeat the shades, they just like switch them around. They put this shade in this palette, this shade in the other palette. They give you like 2 extra shades of like powders or whatever. I don't even know because I haven't been following the exact story on what they're doing with their palettes. But I did hear that they are repeating stuff in those palettes. And that I don't like. I don't like when brands do that because they're making money off of those palettes, you know, because people want to buy them. They want to have the newest thing. So maybe for that reason, I really don't want to spend my money because I don't agree with that type of idea of just, you know, selling to people the same stuff that they already have in the other palettes. I just, you know, I don't like it. Anyways, but we'll see. I'm not saying no because I don't know. I kind of like the palette. I know I had an issue with the powders because I'm not a powder person, but a lot of people love powder. So don't go based on my review because I don't like to use too much powder. However, I do love the highlighter. I love the blushes, bronzer. But if you give me the same blush and bronzer and then new highlighter and powders in the other palette, why would I buy it? Because I already have this one. Kind of, that's my idea, but we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I have to look for one that doesn't have that blush and bronzer. To me, the blush and bronzer are my main focus, right? Powder looks the same. You can't even tell, right? Anyways, that's my take on that. Okay, let's move on to another beautiful powder product, and that's a blush. And I haven't used this one in a while. This is the Givenchy Prisme Libre blush, and this is in the shade 6. Yeah, Flanelle Rubis. Look at those beautiful orange, peach, brick shades. I love it. It's just that it's more messy. I don't use this guy here. Look how messy that is. So I'm just keeping it for kind of making sure that this doesn't spill. But I'm going to go a little bit into the cap like that, and we'll add as we go. I'm going to use this other side of the hourglass brush. Oh, look how much it picked up. So be careful, you don't want to add this to your cheek. You see how it's uneven? You probably want to swirl it and even it out in the palm so that it looks more even when you add it to your cheek. You see, you still get a lot of product even though we swirled it into the palm. So pretty, so pretty. I love these blushes because they give you that nice luminosity to the cheek. Like, look at that, you see? Look at the luminosity, and it's a powder product. So I love that in a powder product that gives you a cream product effect, you know, but they're powder. I'm not going to use a concealer today. I'm just going to leave that foundation being already heavy enough, and we brought it up here. I think that's good enough. I love this blush so much. They're expensive, the Givenchy blushes. A little bit goes a long way because you can see how pigmented it is. And then look how much product I have left. I will never run out of this. So if you want to try a Givenchy blush, this is a nice shade. I also have the pink one. That's another beautiful shade. But I understand they're expensive, right? I know that this is a highlighter. Let's move on to a highlighter. This is by Haus Labs again. And this is the Bio Radiant Gel Powder Highlighter in the shade Rose Quartz. Now, I know it says gel, but it's not gel. This is a powder. You hear that? But look at that. Isn't that pretty? I like to use this as a blush. Where should I put it here? That's perfect for a blush. But I just want to add a little bit as a highlighter. So I'm going to use this Hourglass dual-ended brush. I'm going to use this side. And let's see. I'm just going to, again, swirl it because I don't want to add too much since it's more pink. I just want to add a little bit right here. Can you see it right here? And I don't want to add too much because I have like the smile lines here, right? And I don't, throughout the day I've noticed if I use powder, it can look a little bit crusty, but it's okay, it looks good. Okay, so let me go in with this big fluffy brush and just make sure everything is just blended together and we don't have any sharp lines. Okay, let's move on to the eyes now. And I have two palettes I want to play with. So I want to start with the Patrick Ta Major Dimension 3 palette. This is the one that's more matte. I mean, that is all matte. Look how pretty that is. Ooh. Then I'll show you which shimmer I'm going to go into today. I love the cool tones. I've been using this ones a lot. This row right here. Right there. So I'm just gonna use that shade into the crease. Let me zoom you in a little bit more. Oh, that's such a pretty shade. It's nice and soft. Do the same thing on this eye. I wonder if we should make a smokier eye today. Kind of like how Natasha Denona does her eyes. Step out of my comfort zone a bit, right? Now I use the same eye look all the time. I love this palette. What do you guys think of the new Urban Decay palette? Is it worth buying? Or I'm not using palettes as much, and I think having Patrick Ta Makeup by Mario, that's good enough in those type of shades. Oh, why did I close it? So I think I want to add the same, maybe the darker shade. Maybe I'll go with this shade beside it and add that on the bottom just a little bit here. Okay, so let's move on to this palette. Since I bought it, I want to use it. And this is the Natasha Denona Hyper Natural Face Palette. I love this because it has the bronzer. Where is it? The bronzer, the blush, and then we have all the shimmers. I guess I don't wish because you can use the bronzer as a transition shade. So I think I'm going to go in with just this shade right here. Nice shimmery shade. What is it called? Dreamy? Yeah, Dreamy. Use my finger and just add it in the middle and just all over the eyelid. It's so pretty. It's so soft. I love, that's my favorite shade in this palette. Let's use a crayon now, and I'm going to use my Natasha Denona Macro Tech crayon, and this is in the shade brown. It's just a brown liner. And let's just intensify now the whole eye. Yeah, let's do the whole eye now. Curious to see. We're gonna blend it and then let's do the top. I love this crayon because it does last all day long. Like if you try the Makeup Forever ones or like the other ones that are also lip liners, they smudge quite fast and they're not as intense and long lasting on the eye. Wow, look at that difference. So now grab a pencil brush and just smudge this a little bit so that you don't see a sharp line, you know, you just see smoky eye, not sharp line. That looks much cleaner, right? I think for the bottom, I'm gonna go into Patrick Ta and I'm gonna go into this shade right here. Wow, this eye is turning out pretty smoky today, right? Just diffuse this sharp line on the bottom a little bit more. What do you guys think? I think that's really nice. Like, look at the difference between this eye and this eye. That's amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna finish this eye off camera really fast, and then I'm gonna also add mascara, which is boring. It's gonna be my L'Oreal Voluminous Panorama Mascara, and then I'll be back to show you kind of the final look, and then we move on to the lips. Okay, so here's the eyes. What do you guys think? They're quite smoky, right? I love everything. Do we need, you know what? Let's powder. Let's powder because I think that we're gonna need some powder in this area here. Okay, so I'm gonna use this powder by Huda Beauty, and this is the Cherry Blossom Cake Baby Bake Loose Powder. So I got the mini one because I have enough powder, so I don't need any more. But if you want to know how you open this, you just twist the cap and it comes with this puff, and there's the powder. I don't like to use this as much because you can't really distribute it properly. So I'm going to use this BK Beauty 108 brush. I'm just going to go into this powder here and just set the T-zone a bit to eliminate this extra shine. I hope that's not going to be too drying throughout the day, but I think it looks a little bit better, right? Okay, so let's move on to lips. So before we do, here's a final close-up. Let's remove this hair. I think that everything looks super nice and smooth, super smoky eyes. I'm not used to this, but I'm loving it. Okay, let's move on to lips. Where are my lips products? Oh, here it is. So should I use a lip liner? I should. Okay, for lip liner, I'm gonna go with this one. This is by Wonderskin, and it's this nice color, rosewood it's called. That powder actually really smoothed out my skin. Now this is a nice, very intense red because I'm gonna go in with the Rare Beauty afterwards. So I'm going with this too right now. Just line up the lips a little bit only. Kind of contour them. I'm actually liking the shade more on the lips than this shade. You see it has more of a pink hue. This is more red. Just like that. And then I'm gonna go in with this intense color. This is a color that my daughter bought for me, and this is the Rare Beauty in the shade Affection. And it's so pretty. Such a pretty shade, and it's a lip oil stain or lip stain, whatever, you know. But I love it that it stains your lips. That's really intense, but don't worry, watch this, okay? I don't want to have any shine because there'll be too much, I think. Okay, so now I'm gonna dab the shine off. We are left with this nice stain on the lips. Now, this is quite intense, like smoky eye and very intense lips, but you know what? It's makeup and I love it. It doesn't hurt anyone, right? I think it looks really interesting. It looks really nice. I really love this lip stain. It's just, this will go really good with just a very nice lighter eye look, but I wanted to play with this because I haven't used this one in a while. So yeah, I think it's really pretty anyways. Did you guys enjoy this? What do you guys think of this powder products and on dry, mature skin? I think it looks nice. It did not make the skin any drier or, you know, weird looking. I think it still looks pretty. The powder actually looks really nice on top of this foundation. I don't see any cakiness or dryness around my face, which is good. Anyways, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and if you have dry, mature skin, you can use powder products. Don't be afraid of them. And I hope this was helpful. If it was, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I cannot wait to see you in my next one. Love you guys. Bye.